Over the years, there was a strange trend to take something live action that was clearly aimed at adults and turn it into an animated TV series. Here's 5 cartoons based on R-rated properties you may have missed or forgotten about. Oh, and before you complain, I already did RoboCop the animated series in another video. Rambo! Gotta start off with the one who did it first. First Blood is a 1982 dramatic action film from director Ted Kotcheff. It was based on the 1972 novel The Same Name by David Morrell. The movie was a major hit, opening at number 1, and it was the 13th highest grossing film of the year, making $160 million on a $15 million budget. It also was some of Stallone's best acting. 3 years later, May 22nd, 1985, Rambo, First Blood Part 2 comes out and is a massive blockbuster. It was very big and very bloody. So someone had the idea to take this very R-rated movie and make a kid-friendly version of it. Toy company Coleco saw the overwhelming success of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, and decided they needed a cartoon to pair with the toy line. So they spent $15 million to acquire the rights to Rambo and make the show. In September of 1986, we got Rambo, sometimes listed as Rambo, The Force of Freedom. It was made for first-run syndication. Jerry Goldsmith's score from First Blood and Rambo was used in the series, which probably cost a nice chunk of that $15 million. The series revolved around characters from the movies, modified for the kid-friendly demographic. Colonel Troutman organizes a task force to fight the evil terrorist known as Savage, special administrators of vengeance, anarchy, and global extortion. Rambo leads the Force of Freedom along with Turbo, Cat, White Dragon, Touchdown, and Chief. The show was produced by Ruby Spears and Carol Coe. They tried out the show with a miniseries in April of 1986. This ran for 5 episodes, and it did so well, they ordered a full syndicated block. The full series started on September 5th, 1986. Each episode was the usual 25 minutes, and it ran for 65 episodes, including the miniseries. When the show was first released, there was some controversy about taking a serious R-rated movie and making a kid-friendly version. So they had to create fictional countries where the events took place and make sure to dial the violence down to kid-safe levels so they wouldn't piss off the FCC in their decency standards. Not to mention, parents. Back to the real reason the show was made, the toys. Coleco made 11 action figures, 2 of which were Rambo. They also made some play sets and vehicles. In 1987, for Series 2, they released 7 more figures and some play sets, although since they weren't selling well, they only released them in areas that were shown to have decent numbers. Rambo wasn't a hit, but it did go on for longer than most expected. The last episode aired on December 18th, 1986. Lionsgate released the series in single-season box sets over the course of a few months in 2005. Stallone apparently had nothing to do with the cartoon and is embarrassed with what they did to the character, even more embarrassed than he was for Rambo 3. This series was streaming on a few services at one point, but not anymore. A few clips and random episodes are on YouTube, but not the full series. Clerks. Clerks is a 1994 comedy written, directed, and produced by Kevin Smith. The movie was about a day in the life of 2 convenience store clerks, Dante and Randall. The dialogue was absolutely filthy, but also hilarious, but it was most certainly for adults. For some reason, in 1995, Touchstone TV produced a Clerks live-action pilot. The pilot wasn't picked up, and Smith despises it. A copy did leak years ago, and it's not good. I'm most likely going to cover that sometime in the future on an episode dedicated to failed pilots. Anyway, Touchstone TV teamed up with Miramax to produce an animated Clerks series simply called Clerks, the Animated Series. This had Smith involved as well as his producing partner, Scott Mosier. Unfortunately, there was a lot of back and forth over the tone of the series. The movie was downright filthy, and I love it for that, but trying to recapture that in a primetime animated show was going to be difficult to say the least. As such, the show was turned into something that was more wacky as opposed to dirty. In a nice touch, almost all the cast of Clerks the movie was cast to play themselves in the animated version. They also had lots of cameos with people like Charles Barkley, Judge Reinhold, Dana Gould, Gilbert Gottfried, James Woods, and more. A pre-Walter White Bryan Cranston did a variety of voices, and Frank Welker played Bill Clinton. Kevin Michael Richardson was the narrator. As you can see, they had a lot of talent involved. Clerks the Animated Series premiered on May 31st, 2000 on ABC. It did not go over well. That may have been due to the fact that they started with episode 4. While that was a bummer, I think the positive side is that because of this, more people are aware of the hilarious ending with the Korean animators.
Quickly in here! Who's driving? Oh my god, Bear's driving! How can that be?
They then played what was planned to be the second episode, which was a clip show that showed clips from the previous episode. The one that never aired, which kinda killed the joke. Ratings for the show were so bad, it was canceled halfway through episode 2. During a commercial break in episode 2, they announced, "Don't worry, all your favorite shows will return next week." And once they finished out the episode, it was never mentioned again. The last episode aired on June 7th, 2000. The show lasted less than 2 weeks. The series was picked up by Comedy Central, who aired all 6 episodes. The show later made it to DVD, with some introductions by Jay and Silent Bob in character, as well as commentary tracks. Smith was sad that the show was canceled, and hoped to make a full-on Clerks animated movie. However, after Miramax split with Disney, Disney still owned the rights to the TV show, and they refused to sell it to the Weinstein Company. Smith wrote a script for the animated movie, and called it Clerks Sell Out. However, with the rights in limbo, he repurposed the script and turned it into Clerks 3. I personally think the show's funny and I enjoy it very much. I don't like it nearly as much as the movie it's based on, but I like it for being a very campy, reference-heavy cartoon. The show is on DVD. It's not available for streaming, and only a few clips are on YouTube. Toxic Crusaders. Out of all of these, this one to me is the craziest. Toxic Crusaders is very loosely based on the Toxic Avenger series from Troma, movies that absolutely positively are not for kids. The original Toxic Avenger is about a janitor named Melvin Junko, who gets bullied and thrown into a vat of toxic waste, which transforms him into the Toxic Avenger, the first superhero from New Jersey. Anyway, the Toxic Avenger goes around getting revenge for what happened to him, and this was the movie that largely put Troma on the map. Melvin now goes by Toxie. Taking a cue from Captain Planet, the Toxic Crusaders is all about saving the environment from pollution. Toxie heads up a team of mutants who fight off the evil mutants from the planet Smogula. The series takes the original movie and makes it silly and safe for kids, even including the message of cleaning up the environment. The series premiered on January 21st, 1991. It only lasted for 1 season with 13 episodes. The last one aired on May 20th, 1991. Although due to the absurdity of the production, it developed an insane cult following. The show had 2 limited edition comic book series, a toy line from Playmates, who were doing the TMNT toys at the time, as well as coloring books, Halloween costumes, a card game, and a series of video games. Speaking of video games, RetroWare, who produced games like Iron Meat and the AVGN series, made a Toxic Crusaders beat-em-up game that I believe is coming out this year. Just to throw this out there, I am not being paid to mention this at all. I just think RetroWare has been making some killer titles lately, and I've been waiting for this one to come out for a while. Also, my buddy Psycho Stick did the score for the game. It's gonna be awesome. I hope. The Toxic Crusader series did get a DVD release. I could have sworn it was supposed to get a Blu-ray release, but I couldn't find anything about it now, so I guess my brain was just trying to will it into existence. The Toxic Crusaders is currently streaming on Screambox, and it's also on YouTube. Police Academy. Around the time when this came out, they were already on the 5th Police Academy movie. This was another R-rated property adapted to a kids show by Ruby Spears, although this one was co-produced by Warner Brothers, the owners of the film series. While the show was a toned-down version of the movies, it still fit canonically in the series. It takes place between the 4th and 5th film. Most of the movie's characters were brought over: Mahoney, Larville Jones, Sweet Chuck, Hightower, and so on. Of course, they're all exaggerated versions of their movie counterparts. Well, except for maybe Jones. Although I was shocked that they didn't hire Michael Winslow to do his own voice work. Seems out of all of them, that one should have been a no-brainer. The show revolves around the police academy fighting off various bad guys in the silliest ways possible. While the movies are more of the toilet humor variety, the foundation does work perfectly as something that could be adapted for kids. The theme for the show is performed by the Fat Boys, who even play themselves in an episode. Bring in the Fat Boys, but not Michael Winslow? The show premiered September 10th, 1988 in first-run syndication. It ran for 2 seasons with 65 episodes. The last one aired on September 2nd, 1989. While the series did okay in the US, it did far better overseas. Apparently, it was loved in Italy. In 2012, the first season was released on DVD. Unfortunately, the discs didn't sell well, and so they never released season 2. Police Academy the Animated Series is not available for streaming, but it is on YouTube. Roughnecks. While the other shows I mentioned are hand-drawn animation, Roughnecks is CG animation, which does work quite well. Roughnecks is based off the 1997 Paul Verhoeven movie, Starship Troopers, but also incorporates elements from the 1959 Robert Heinlein novel that didn't make it into the movie. So while I adore the 1997 movie, I recognize the animated series is closer to the source material. The show is about the mobile infantry fighting off the bug infestation that's happening all over the galaxy. It focuses on the Alpha Team, who are chasing the bugs from planet to planet, wiping them out. The series has many of the characters you know, like Rico and Dizzy. They also had some pretty awesome voice actors: Arlie Ermy, Clancy Brown, E.G. Daly, and Ryder Strong. The show premiered on August 30th, 1999. It ran for 1 season with 36 episodes, plus an additional 4 that were just clip shows. The last episode aired on April 3rd, 2000. The show was syndicated when it was canceled. It was then picked up by the Sci-Fi Channel, where it aired in regular rotation. The series was released in chunks by Sony, each campaign. The plus side was that the discs came with commentaries for the episodes. The downside was that they were released in popularity order, not chronological order. They compiled all the episodes and re-released them in a box set, minus the commentaries. The show ended on a cliffhanger. The story editor explained what the ending of the show would have been on a commentary track for the Homefront campaign. This was not available on the complete box set. The show was on streaming, but not anymore. It is on YouTube. If you want to see the bonus 6 entry as well as vote on future entries, please consider joining my Patreon. There were even more R-rated movies that were turned into cartoons. This is just a few of them. If enough of you want to see more, I'll cover them in a future installment. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Tom Cruise! Oh no! You want the truth? You can't handle the truth! Show me the money!